Hi everyone and welcome back to your weekly installment of the Reserve List Top 10. These are the hottest selling cards on the Reserve List from March 8th to the 15th of 2025. Now, just what does the Reserve List hold in store for us this week? We're about to find out. Welcome back everyone, MTG Moxman here. Thanks again for letting me be your host again for this journey of the top 10. A reminder that if you are shopping for any of the cards I show you today and you're using TCG Player to buy them, well, don't forget to use my players link, affiliate link, found in the description of this video. Now let's dive into the number 10 card this week, and it's Scrubland from Revised, with an average price of $349 per copy. We're getting to some serious money. Now it locks in the number 10 spot this week with 25 sales, or $8,737.25. Being one of the 10 dual lands we have available in our world, it's amazing to think that these things used to just be found in packs. You could open it, enjoy it, play with it, trade it. Nowadays, they are a commodity that is hard to come by, and that's why players buying this week were going for anything they could find. We're talking all the way down from like damaged copies all the way up through BGS rated 9.5s. Players love these cards, okay? The dual lands are a sign that you are on your journey. Now, if you're in the market for these cards, depending on why you're after it, that will determine what type of copy you're going to buy. The fact we still have 25 copies sold this week, well, that's something else as well. Our number 9 card this week is Academy Rector. This is Urza's Destiny. It locks in number 9 with 28 sales, or $1,881.60 of total sales action. Now, what are we looking at? When you look at old cards like this, and yeah, you can see that foil is like $547 because that's the very first foils ever made in the entire history of Magic the Gathering. When we're looking at cards like this, it's been as high as $170. Right now, it's $67 and some change, and that's for a near mint copy. The card has a monthly change of $4.36. This thing is still worth a lot of money, but it's nowhere near its all-time highs. Are we seeing a shift in that playability factor? Are we seeing players want to desire this card more than normal? Well, maybe so, because when it comes into play, it's awesome. When it goes to graveyard, it's even better because you can remove it from the game, and if you do, you search your library for an enchantment card and put it into play. Great card. Now, our next card is Wheel of Fortune, and that's a revised edition card, again, just like Scrubland, but this thing is $309. It locks in number 8 with 29 sales this week, or $8,898.13. When we're taking a look at what Wheel of Fortune is and isn't, this is a card players desire and they hold on to. This isn't a card that sees a lot of sales nowadays. There's just not that many readily available, and when players buy them, they hold on to them now. This hasn't been in a top 10 for a very long time. It kind of was going to be on last week, and it would have been later on. This thing is seeing a little bit of sales action every week, but never to the degree it makes a top 10. And last week it almost made it. This week it skims by into the 20 range with enough sales, and we'll discuss this, of course, at the end of the video, but Wheel of Fortune is a keeper. When you buy this card, you're going to hold on to it. Let's not forget, for 1 red, 2 other, all players must discard their hands and draw 7 new cards. There are lots of reasons to get your hands on this card. Tolarian Academy for Urza Saga is our next card today with an average price of $210 on average. It locks in number 7 with 31 sales, or $6,510 per copy. Do you guys remember this was like a $50 card just around a year ago? Well, there's a lot of players still believing that this card is going to get unbanned sometime soon. And that means there's a lot of speculators still diving into the market. Look at the stepping stool of this thing back in, like, I guess what, that'd be like October of 2024 all the way through till now. This thing still saw a monthly change of $20 a copy, and it's basically only playable in one format right now, including casual. It's insane. Now, Tolarian Academy is an awesome card. Very powerful, getting more powerful every day. Legendary land that says add 1 blue mana to your mana pool for each artifact you control, and with all the clues and tokens and artifacts available, this thing is a monster just waiting to be unleashed like the Hulk. All right, guys, our next card is Volross Stronghold. It's on the list again this week from the set called Stronghold. It takes number 6 with 37 sales this week, or $3,596.03. The people buying this copy, by the way, are going for everything. This thing is heavily played, moderately played, lightly played, near mint. And although it is not included in today's sales, there was even the gold border edition for the championship decks. A whole bunch of those sold too, but they are not included in today's sale. Now, the average price is $97.10. This is a far cry from the $200+ it used to be worth, but at the same time, players still need this card. It's an amazing one. Overall change is $9.48 on the month. So what are we getting for our money? Well, Volross Stronghold, of course, is going to be a legendary land that adds colorless to your mana pool, but that last power, the bottom text, put target creature card from your graveyard on top of your library for 1 black and 1 other. Insane. Now our next card, guys. We got to talk about the Grim Monolith. Again, Urza's Legacy. Average price $335. Takes number 5 spot with 38 sales this week, or 12,730 sales. When we're looking at a card like Grim Monolith, this is already a juggernaut of a thing. Because it can give you infinite mana combos and it's a low casting cost, just 2 to get out, this thing's insanely powerful for players. Mentioning that it's also on the reserve list and has a foil version of itself for like $2,500. Yeah, very, very sought after, I guess you could say. Now, the overall change for the card, though, is $35 on the month. There had been a little bit of sales action all since last month, but it was like 10 or 12 sales every week. It never made the list. This week saw a bit of a push. Now, this 2 casting cost Grim Monolith card, of course, generic artifact, can fit into any deck. It says Grim Monolith is not untapped during your untap phase. Tap it to add 3 colorless mana to your mana pool, play this ability as a mana source, and then pay for it to untap it, but as you know, very broken. Our next card is Replenish. Again, Urza's Destiny. See the Urza's block sales? Insane, guys. Number 4 this week. This thing takes in a total of 42 sales. And of course, this saw some action last month, not to mention, right, guys? It was here last month. $3,547 of total sales action. So what's going on when you look at a card like Replenish? Let's not forget this thing is a single white plus 3 other. And there's a lot of enchantments out there. There are a lot of reasons to bring things back from your graveyard. And this is one of those cards that is the most efficient at doing it. Average price is now $104.80. It's still trending up right now with a monthly change of $9.81. Well, let's take a closer look because this thing is a beast. I'm glad I already own a couple of copies for myself. Let's take a look. Replenish artwork reminds me of the Raiders of the Lost Ark. You see all the lights and stuff, the ghost things coming out to get you. Return all enchantment cards from your graveyard to play. Local enchantments with no permanent to enchant remain in your graveyard. So, you're not bringing back like creature enchantments. You're bringing back the global effects, man. All right, we got Unfulfilled Desires. This thing refuses to go. Average price $24.88 a copy. Nearing its all-time high. 46 sales this week. That's $4,438.31, guys. A lot of sales action going on for this card still. Still being desired. You gotta love why people want to get their hands on this stuff. When we take a closer look at the card, and remember it's from the Mirage block, these kinds of cards, they usually don't hold on to the value we're seeing right now. You can see it's just starting to peak over right now, but in times past and in previous spikes, this thing started going down within a week or two. This thing is now past a month, and it is holding strong. Players are still buying it every single day. Let's take a closer look. 1 black, 1 blue, and 1 other for Unfulfilled Desires. Artwork, not bad. Enchantment, 1. Pay 1 life, draw a card, then choose and discard a card. Well, there's reasons to discard recently from Aether Drift that has players going, this is amazing! But it's not the number 1 card, is it? Either is this one, but your number 2 card is Brain Geyser, coming in with an average price of $16.99 with total sales 73. That's $1,240.23 of total sales action. Now, when we're looking at Brain Geyser, let's not forget what this thing is. Iconic, powerful, and players remember it. Because that 2 blue plus X is a game-winning combo when you're ready to use it. The $16.99, way less than the $80 it used to be, and people are buying near mint combos right now. They want the near mint, the cream of the crop. They don't want to go for heavily played. They're not going for moderate or light. The sales show me we got a lot of near mint lovers out there because they said, hey, it's under 20 bucks. I might as well buy a perfect copy, packed fresh. Now let's take a look at this card, okay? When we're looking at Brain Geyser, remember here, 2 blue plus X, right? Target player must draw X cards. Now, there are ways to stop it, but generally speaking, unless you got a library of Lang or something like go to the top of your library and things force you to discard at the end of a turn, or people killing you with this thing because it's just a brutal game effect card that can end your life, keep it in mind, it's also a great thing just to draw some cards. Now, our number 1 card this week is Copy Artifact from Revised. This thing takes the number 1 spot with 121 sales this week, or $11,144 of sales action. Copy Artifact continues to be a beast of a reserve list card that a lot of players now see the value of holding on to and utilizing in multiple decks. A lot of commander decks are incorporating this card into play. Now, let's not forget that when we're looking at this card, it's $92.10 now, still about half the price it used to be. But when we look at the monthly changeover, that's $32.59 that this card has climbed in value. There have been multiple buyouts over the last couple of weeks that just keep pushing this thing higher. Blue and one other. This card is an enchantment that says select any artifact in play. This enchantment acts as a copy of that artifact. It is affected, though, by cards that affect either artifacts or enchantments. The copy remains even if the original is destroyed. There was a couple of nice surprises that we just saw in this week's top 10. Cards like Grim Monolith and Scrubland making a strong presence showing with, thousands of dollars sold in cards. But we saw a lower overall volume again like we witnessed last week with select higher value cards being bought, but with lots of the lower tier cards just not showing up at all. Now, whether this again is from wallet fatigue or uncertainty, the truth is always in the number, and right now there's just not a lot of interest in reserve list cards at this moment. One of the cards I'd like to mention that didn't quite make the top 10 this week, though, is going to be Deranged Hermit. Sandy the Squirrel, Toski, the new secret lair, did have an uptrend in the market response to buying this card. Just when it was starting to trend downward, we see some renewed interest, and that's something that means it could show up in next week's top 10. If you're looking at buying this card, avoid it at all costs. It should not be as high as it is, and it will trend downward. Also, cards like Fast Bond, close to making the list again, but not quite being there. The banned announcement for cards that comes out on the 31st does have a lot of people wondering, speculating, hypothesizing what Wizards of the Coast will do. Let's not forget, they're a money machine. They are going to be cautious, which means a lot of people trying to speculate or thinking about speculating on reserve list cards that could become unbanned is probably the wrong hand to play right now. I think we're going to take longer for Wizards of the Coast to work this out to see if they ever unban cards that we love on the reserve list and add them into regular play, casual play, even if it's in a high-tiered system. Guys, thanks again for hanging out with me today. Thanks a lot for being here. I hope you guys enjoyed today's content and found it fun and informative. And you know what? We're back here every single week. I'll see you guys tomorrow with another video. And of course, on my live stream tonight, 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. I hope you guys can make it. See you then. Hey guys, a big thank you and shout out for all of my patrons, my YouTube membership members, for allowing me the possibility of making videos every single day for everyone to enjoy. Without those patrons and YouTube membership members, well, we wouldn't be able to do this kind of thing. So I always like to take that moment at the end of every video and say, hey, a personalized thank you to you guys for allowing me the honor of being here and talking about Magic the Gathering with you. I'll see you guys tomorrow with another video, of course. But hey, shop smart, shop S-Smart, and have a great day. It's Magic. It's awesome. What's that? You're here for the Ramble Jamble? You want the long version or the short version? You know you want it long. Here we go. So, sales are lower means nothing. Nothing when it comes to the reserve list. Similar only in that there is probably a little bit of cautiousness going around, people saving up money, finding out what tax returns are going to be. Because this traditionally is the time some high-end cards will start to be bought. Probably the next 2-3 weeks. Keep your eyes peeled. We might see some heavy action moving because some of these cards are still super cheap. And there might be people trying to consolidate some long-standing wishes to get some of these high-end cards. It happens every year. What will they be? Well, that's what we're going to find out as soon as we can. So that one there, let's lock and load that one and just say that's for the future. This is where the difference comes from regular sales versus the reserve list. Yes, there'll be some niche action when it comes to certain cards all the time. But when we're looking at high-end reserve list cards, Players who desire those cards, who really want to get their hands on them, if they know they have a tax return coming, if they got a few shekels, squirreled away, they will put that money together. They'll say, hey, I might as well wait a week or two. I'm probably only a couple $100 off. Maybe I could put this together and get a bigger card. One that I'm never going to have to trade in. Whether it's going to be something like the Sliver Queen. Maybe you're going in there and saying, I want to get myself a Wheel of Fortune, a Grim Monolith. Hey, maybe you're really after just another Lake of the Dead. But either way, all those mid-tier cards didn't make the list this week, but their sales weren't that low. They were just very spread out across the board. Even Fork had some sales action. It had like 21 sales. Not enough to make the list, but there's been a lot of action. And as far as it goes for Copy Artifact, kudos. The card deserves to be $200. I'm still saying it does. Guys, have a great one. We'll see you soon. Keep on rambling. Keep on jambling. Ramble, jamble.